The success of our society proves that our system works, but maybe we forgot to teach our young folks that wealth is achieved by helping people to get what they want. So, if no one has yet taught you how the game is played in the big leagues, well, guess what? Now, it's your turn. Here's our rallying cry. There's a billionaire locked inside you. The key to freedom is information. The kind of information you find here on the Money Man Report. Now, here's today's host. Here's the Money Man. Here's Dan Frischberg.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Money Man Report. Back on the air after a couple of years hiatus, and happy to be here. And there's reasons why we're here, right? I'm Dan Frischberg. This is the beautiful Alicia, who was the originator of the whole idea of our program and then Biz Radio and all of that broadcasting. So good morning, my dear.
Hello, Daniel, and hello there. How are you? Now, let's talk about saving the idea of free markets and why people risk everything to get their shot at the free market.
Well, they're not, and you know, they don't really understand what the free market really is, because we talk about capitalism and people talk about they don't like capitalism, but I don't think they really get what capitalism is supposed to be.
So, what is capitalism, or what is a free market? Is
capitalism means you're using your capital. Mm-hmm. And the way you're making money and the way you're gaining power and wealth is through using your capital. So, you know, you can go anywhere and be grow wheat, and you can go anywhere and be a janitor, mm-hmm. or a cleaning lady or a clerk or an executive or a manager or a cashier or a stocking supermarket. You can do that anywhere in the world, mm-hmm. and you get paid for it, right? Mm-hmm. The whole idea of this economy that has drawn people from everywhere was the idea that you can take your capital and you can use that capital and multiply it and make it bigger and bigger by investing in companies and investing in companies that are doing things people want and need. Mm-hmm. And you can use that capital and you can pyramid it, because you don't have to even have a lot of money. Go ahead.
That's really the concept of the stock market. Really, from the very beginning, it was all about people using their capital, putting it together, using their capital to get more. And that's the concept of it. And for some reason, a lot of people lost that concept of capitalism.
Now, it used to be that if you were a regular person and you wanted to buy a stock, like I'm getting ready soon with this big sell-off to buy stock in Alphabet, in Google. Mm-hmm. That stock right now is $2,600 a share. Mm-hmm. It was $3,300 a share. But whether the stock is $10 a share or $3,000 a share, bottom line is anybody can buy it. But you know, if the company stock goes up by 10% and you put your money in there, then you make 10%. That isn't how people get rich. You understand? Just knowing what you want to invest in is the ante to get into the game. It's the skill of pyramiding your capital. That's what really capitalism is. Mm-hmm. So, you know the story of how Warren Buffett and Goldman Sachs, back in 2008, everything sold off. Right, there was a sell-off and a recession, and it was like what has seemed to be starting right now, but they went very far, and a lot of the financial companies, especially, really got hit. Mm-hmm. So Goldman Sachs' stock went down to where it was only selling for $100, mm-hmm. and it looked bad for Goldman Sachs stock. So Warren Buffett had cash. Now he ended up making $4 billion on this. He didn't make it by just buying the stock. What he did was he went to the company and he said, look, you look bad. Your stock is going down. I think I can rescue your company and make your company look good because people respect what I invest in. And so if I invest in it, it's going to stop your stock from the bottom falling out, and it's going to make you look good. Now, what I want to do is I want to buy it's $100. I want you to make me a preferred share. Preferred share is like a bond. In other words, I'm going to buy it, and you're going to pay me a dividend, but I don't get to share in the profits and growth like a regular common stock. You're just paying me a dividend. And it's like a loan, and you're going to pay me 8 or 10% interest.
And it's called preferred because I get paid first, aside from everybody.
That's right.
If you go under.
So even if you went under, but I know you can't go under because I have all the money it takes to keep you afloat anyway. And so that's one of the reasons people are going to trust you. Now your stock is only at $100. In addition to you paying me interest and eventually buying back that preferred stock, because I'm basically lending you the money to have the capital to operate. But in addition to that, I'm going to give you $5 billion, which I'm going to buy that preferred stock with at $100 a share, which is where your stock is anyway.
Plus his name.
Yes. But in addition to that, I want you to give me warrants. That is the right to buy your stock, but it's a warrant to buy it at 150. You have nothing to lose. The stock's at 100 now. You'd be willing to sell me the stock right now for 100, right? But I want a warrant that permits me anytime in the next 10 years to
buy it at 150.
Right, because why? Because I, Warren Buffett, know that you're going to do better later. The stock market is cyclical. We're in a big downturn. Later it's going to be a big upturn. I know your stock's going to be worth a lot more money.
And once I put my money in it,
it's
then
going to make you look better right away.
Yes.
Which, by the way, happened because almost immediately
time.
It was 150. But the bottom line is I want the right to buy 50 million shares, 50 million shares of your stock at $150, right? Which is a great deal for you because it's only at 100 right now. But I know, why do I want to do that? Why would he want to do that? Because he knows the stock's going to be worth much, much more. And what he's got is the exclusive right to buy that stock.
It's acquisition rights.
Acquisition rights, exactly. It's a warrant, which is a long-term option. Now, we call them warrants. They started being called options, these long-term multi-year deals, because they started eventually eventually they've started to be traded and regulated by the option authority on the options exchange, on the CBOE. So they're called options, but they're completely different from the options that most people invest in, because most people are buying 1 month options, 3 month options. They're trying to get leverage, but in order to do that, they have to guess when is it going to go up. And they only have 3 months and they run out of time. Most of them end up losing money.
And they said, I never want to do option ever again.
Everybody wants to keep away from them because they think they're dangerous. But that's almost the same as people keeping away from cars, because kids who do drag racing end up getting killed. That doesn't mean the car is dangerous. It's the way they're using it. The idea is me buying a multi-year warrant on a company that I know is going to be worth more money in the future allows me to pyramid my stock. Because look, I'm going to buy shares of Alphabet, which we'll talk about why that's a good idea and why we're telling the audience about this. But the bottom line is that stock's at $2,600. I can buy the right to buy that company over the next several years. The stock's at $2,600. I want the right to buy it at $3,300, $3,500, somewhere in there. But it's going to cost me 3 cents on the dollar, between 3 and 4 cents on the dollar, to be able to lock in my exclusive right to buy that stock at that price. So when a couple of years from now, 2, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I intend to hang on to that stock for a long time for reasons that we're going to discuss in a little while. But here's the bottom line. I'm paying 3-4 cents on the dollar. So if I have $20,000 to buy that stock, I can buy 30 times as much of the stock. Means I can buy hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of that company only using $20,000 of my money. Now think about this. Now I have the right to buy that stock for $3,300. Now let's say that the stock goes up and eventually it's at $4,000 a share, which is very little. It's $2,600. It was at $3,300 just a month ago or so. The stock goes to $4,000, which is no doubt that it's going to, for reasons that I'm going to talk to you about why Alphabet is such a good deal and why I know I want to invest in it. But now think about what's going to happen. Just like what Warren Buffett did with Goldman Sachs, I'm going to do the same thing. I have the exclusive right to buy that stock at a little higher price. Now, what happened to Warren Buffett is he had that 50 million shares that he could buy at 150. Eventually, the stock went to 250. Well, he made $100 times 50 million. How much is that?
Right. Isn't it wonderful?
He made $4 billion. He made $4 billion.
Isn't it wonderful that you can do that too?
Yeah. So the bottom line is, he didn't make the money because he bought stock in the company. He was smart to know he wanted to own the company. But the bottom line is, he created this huge leverage by making that deal, giving him the right and paying only a small amount of money for it. He's paid the use of that $5 billion. But Warren Buffett made $4 billion for free. Imagine how much that stock would have had to go up if he just bought the shares. You understand? How much more risk he would be taking. So what's happening is, for 3 cents on the dollar that I'm buying that Alphabet stock, and the stock goes up and it's $4,000, and the stock goes up by $700 more, right? And what's happening is, I just turned $70 into $700 for each share. So if I take $20,000, it's going to be worth $200,000 when that stock goes to $4,000 a stock. It goes up a little bit. Bottom line, it's the skill of pyramiding the money. That's what capitalism is. It's using your capital and expanding your capital. It's not just being free to have a job.
Thank you for explaining that, because a lot of people don't quite really know that's happening behind the scenes.
It's going on above your head, but think about, how are these people becoming billionaires? How does Bill Gates get to, he had an $8 billion net worth, right? And 80 billion, then he drew to 80 billion. Now he has an $80 billion net worth, but now he's got 150 billion. Well, he doesn't work at Microsoft. He doesn't do anything with Microsoft. He's been putting his assets into that charitable institution that he and his wife created, right?
Which
this
Warren
foundation.
Buffett is teaching them.
Right.
They taught him how.
Right, but that's right. Taught him how to do that.
They went on tour
That's
for
right.
that too.
But think about it. Now his value of his assets is like 150 million. Billion. He went from 80 billion to 150 billion. How did he make $70 billion in this few years? He wasn't working anywhere. How did he make $70 billion? Well, he made it by using that same trick. And this is the way the guys in Silicon Valley, when somebody invents something, they say, okay, I'm going to help you to raise the money, because if I'm involved, people will look at it and invest in it. But I want options that give me the right to buy into that company at a reasonable price over the next 3 to 5 years. That's how they make billions on these new inventions. And you can do the same thing too. It's my mission to teach you how to do this.
Folks, we'll be right back after these important messages.
I'm loving doing this.
Each week in his live video market and economy update offered to his inner circle, Dan Frischberg delivers the in-depth, professional version of his famous market x-ray report, live and interactive. Now that means you get to ask all the questions you want. And if you can't make the live meeting, you can watch the report on demand. Then email your questions in and Dan will email the answers back or include them in the next live report. Week in and week out, Dan brings you the ideas and specific stock picks from his friends, the people you see on TV and read about in the papers. You'll see what they're buying, how they're hedging, and when they're taking money off the table. At last, you'll get to see how the insiders negotiate the institutional macro bonds that billionaires on Wall Street rely on, the ones almost everyone else never even heard of. When you become an Inner Circle member, Dan will share with you his lifetime of experience and guide you to the best teachers, the best stock pickers, the best option strategists. And you'll be invited to exclusive working vacations in beautiful locations for the Inner Circle only, where you'll rub elbows with some of the most famous investors on Wall Street. So, how do you value the lifetime of skill and experience of a top investor on a mission to share it all with you and help you become one of the few winners? If you've been listening to Dan for a few years, he's likely already made you tons of money, or even more important, saved you from losing a fortune. Now, there are limits to the capacity of the online video sessions, but right now, for a limited time, Dan's offering you the position of charter subscriber, get this, for less than the price of a cup of coffee a day. For all the info or to subscribe, just simply click on themoneyman.com. Themoneyman.com.
You're tuned in to the Money Man Report with your host, TV and radio money man, Dan Frischberg. For more information about everything we're talking about, go to themoneyman.com right now. That's themoneyman.com.
Hey folks, we're back. Here's Daniel Frischberg and I'm Alicia Frischberg. And welcome to the Money Man Report.
We're so happy to be doing this. And by the way, if you are enjoying this, you probably, if you're listening to this on Spotify or any of those websites that handle these blogs, these podcasts, you might enjoy going to our YouTube channel because you can see the same thing with video, and I can show you a lot of things. Very often I want to demonstrate something.
Oh, so Dan, what's so hot about Google, or they call it Alphabet?
Okay. Yeah, so now that I'm wanting more publicity again and we're wanting more people to listen and watch our YouTube channel, when I hired an expert to talk about how to do this, because social media is now like TV used to be. Most of our audience knows me from television, right? And from the Money Man Report from Biz Radio. That was all your invention. But now, if you want a big audience, they have to find you on social media. And you know what? When you hire somebody to do social media, the first thing they have to do is to get you to show up at the beginning of Google, on the front page of Google. And that's the first thing you're going to have to invest in doing that. Now, Google actually went for a little while where they had a dip in advertising, even though they're the most powerful advertising medium in the world.
Why is that?
Well,
Explain.
because COVID, people shut down, hotels were shut down, and bars were shut down, and a lot of businesses were shut down. People weren't making the money, and people advertised less.
So you're saying they eliminated the small companies?
Well, yeah, but now everybody's coming back. Mm-hmm. Every restaurant you go to is full. And the bottom line is just like us. We're back and I want an audience. And so it's Google. So what's happening is people are now back having to spend a ton of money on Google, which is the most powerful advertising medium.
Those advertising medium who's competing with Google is eaten up alive by Google. And
yeah.
so now they're the main
source. Right. Yeah, but wait, there's more. Mm-hmm. Because you see, there used to be this advertising thing where all these people, Snapchat, Facebook, Pinterest, they were getting all the information about people to be able to market from people's iPhones.
Facebook.
Well, no, they were getting it from the iPhone.
Okay.
Yes. And suddenly, Apple said, from now on, we're not going to allow this anymore because we want to protect your privacy, people.
Not true.
No, because they're not protecting your privacy. They get all that same information that ever happened. They're just not giving it to Snapchat, and Pinterest, and Facebook, and those guys. So what's happening is now Apple's got all this unique information that nobody else has about the people. Now that, number one, Apple just took away a lot of the business. Right, just took away
Directed it to
from
Google.
Snapchat, from
Okay.
business. Well, wait, first they took it themselves. And by the way, you'll notice that Apple just in the last year turned into the biggest company in the planet. They were doing okay before, but they took this huge, big jump because now they were the only ones that had that information to market. That right? So they became huge. But you know what do Snapchat and Facebook and Pinterest and all those guys do now that they can't get the information from the iPhones?
They went to Google.
Aha. And Google is the leading search engine on the iPhone. So that all the people that have iPhones, which is
Everybody.
half the world, right? When the people
Per
have
household
iPhones,
is how
if they
many?
want to know about anything, they search in where? Google. When you want to know what's playing, what's there, what's anything, you search on Google, right? Okay. But the way you do it is in your iPhone.
That's right.
Google is the main search engine of the iPhone. So Apple charges rent to Google now. All these other guys have nothing, but if the guys want to use Google to find out and to get their customers back and to reach their customers, they have to do it by search on Apple using Google. All that business came to Google, and now, by the way, Apple is going to raise their rent that they charge to Google.
Yeah.
So they're splitting it, but that's what the two big boys in the schoolyard, the big bullies, get to do to everybody else, right? So that's why there's a sudden big influx of money coming to Google, to Alphabet. And that's the reason, not only that the advertisers are coming back, but now they've got this perfect position where they only search on iPhone, and all the other social media have to go to Google to get it. So it's a gigantic windfall for Google, and I want them to be paying me. So I'm going to own Google.
And no one ever tell you that that's happening.
No, and I can own it for 3 cents on the dollar, because what I really want, I don't care about owning Google. I don't want to vote on their, I don't care about that. What I care about is all the growth they're going to have, right? I can capture all the growth for each share of Google as Google's worth more and more money over the next 3 to 5 years. And I can grab it right now for 3.5 cents on the dollar, right? Not 2,600, but 1/30th of 2,600, which means that I can buy 30 times as much of that company. And as it grows, my money pyramids, and I end up turning $20,000 into $500,000, $600,000. And you folks can do it also, exactly the same way.
There you go. You get the part that no one will tell you.
That's right. Well, nobody is telling anybody that. But remember, they think they don't like people talking about capitalism. Capitalism is not your right to be a janitor or to stock shelves at the supermarket or even to be an executive. It is your right to leverage. You can use your capital, but you have to be smart to use your capital. Right?
Well, it used to be, that's why I came here. I want to be in the center where I can make money, make
Right,
my
keep going.
fortune. So, used to be people, asking for the rights to work. Now they forget all of that, and now they it feels like, it looks like they hate America because they're saying it's not fair.
Because they don't know that what their rewards are based on what they do for people. You know what the best paying job in the world is, folks? The best paying job in the world, helping people get what they want. Mm-hmm. And so now there's an order to the universe. We're about to run out of time here, but there's an order to the universe. You find out what do people want and need that's going to make their lives better. And you make sure, we call it golden rule investing. That is, we find the companies that are doing the most to make people's lives better. And those are the companies we're interested in investing in. That's what you get rewarded for. And that's what capitalism is about. It stimulates people and inspires them to do more to make people's lives better. Mm-hmm. And then to be able to pyramid it. And because this system, remember, if I lived in any other country, you can't trust, they cheat each other, they lie. Here, when somebody says something and it's a publicly traded company, it's true. You notice that girl that was lying about the medical tests? Elizabeth?
Yes.
She's going to go to jail. She lost billions of dollars because she lied. She got caught. You can't do that here. I can trust when Google tells me, when Alphabet tells me how much money they're making, when Microsoft tells me how much money they're making, I know it's true. And I can go, now that they've made this public, I can do the same thing. I'm not a trillionaire like Warren Buffett, but I can go and get that same kind of leverage deal on a company like Alphabet as the richest people in the world.
And isn't it a wonderful system? Now, everybody thinks it's not fair, and they're saying that, if their concept is if you have something, somebody has to take it away from you, so that it's like zero-sum gain.
Yes, because that's right. And that's really the basis of what Karl Marx was writing about. He didn't understand all these. If you listen to all the talk, it's all talking about how we're fighting over the piece of pie. And they believe that if I have money, somebody else must have less money because there's only so much resources. And so in their intuitive world where nobody ever taught them how it works, they think if I've got it, somebody else must not have it. I must have taken it away. They don't understand that the whole idea of this system where we can pyramid our capital by helping people get what they want is that we're stimulating inventions and we're stimulating making people's lives better. The pie is getting bigger and bigger, and now we're sharing it with everybody in the world. The pie's getting bigger and bigger. We're not fighting over who gets a piece of pie. I can get more, and you can get more at the same time. That's why I don't have to keep it a secret, and I can teach you how to do it.
That's what capitalism is all about.
Making your capital work for the good of the world and being rewarded for it.
The show is over.
But we're going to be back next time, and I'm going to show you how it's not just me teaching you this. I'm going to show you how the huge companies like Goldman Sachs and those companies are using these same techniques to make hundreds of billions of dollars, making money that they never earned. I'm going to show you how to do that next time. Don't miss the Money Man Report.
What's up? Dan is so hot about it.
And be smart. And catch it on the YouTube channel.
All right.
Thank you very much. Saying goodbye on behalf of the beautiful Alicia, who is the mastermind of all of this, and me, Dan Frischberg.
This has been Now It's Your Turn with the Money Man, Dan Frischberg. If today's program piqued your interest, there's a video link and QR code on this page for a free workshop that'll teach you a lot more. Or you can find it on Dan's website. Just look for themoneyman.com/golden rule investing. That's themoneyman.com/golden rule investing. Now, If you're only hearing the audio, everybody agrees it's much more exciting and easier to follow on video. There's nothing to it. Just go to YouTube and type in The Money Man Report. You'll see that QR code and the link right there for that free workshop. And by the way, if you subscribe, you'll be personally notified every time we produce a new video. So we'll see you next time. If you missed anything, all this info resides in one place where Dan Frischberg lives. The address is themoneyman.com. It's all one word, themoneyman.com.